So page 200 from your blue tab. And our goal for this week, so our learning target, is by noticing when authors are using words and phrases in special ways, you can better understand and enjoy a story. Okay? So when you understand what the author is trying to say, means you can enjoy the story better. It's really hard to understand and enjoy a story when you don't know what they're saying, what it means, all that kind of stuff, right? And this time, we are focused not so much on like when you're reading something and you see a vocabulary word you don't know. It's also about how they're using the word. Okay? And that's what we're going to focus on. So I'm going to zoom in a little. Do I have somebody who wants to read the first little paragraph there? I have a volunteer. Sophia F., you want to read that for us?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Words and phrases may have more than one meaning. For example, a clown is someone who works for the circus. That's its literal or usual meaning. But if you call your friend a clown, you don't literally mean that he or she is a circus clown. You just mean that your friend's behavior is silly. You're using the non-literal meaning of clown. Non-literal means not literal or not usual.
Perfect. Thank you, Sophia F. Do I have somebody who wants to read the next paragraph? Let's do this. Let's move to Sophia H. Sophia H., you want to read the next one?
Authors often use non-literal language to describe a story's characters, settings, and events more carefully. If you come across a word or phrase with unexpected meaning, use context clues nearby words, phrases, and sentences to figure out its meaning. Read this passage and notice the underlined phrases.
Perfect. Thank you, Sophia H. Okay, before we get to their example, I want to focus on these key words, right? So we had non-literal and literal. So I'm going to pull something up real quick. Hang on. I had a little chart I wanted to use with you guys that's going to focus us a little bit on that. Okay, so literal versus non-literal. This is important to know, okay? This is important to know in reading. It's also helpful when you're listening to things, right? All right, so here we go. Literal means the dictionary meaning, right? So exactly what they were saying, okay? So the example they used in there was like, if you're talking about a clown and you mean an actual clown. Like I went to a circus and I saw a clown. You saw the person with the makeup on the face, the red nose, the silly shoes, being funny. That is what they mean when you're literally talking about something. Then you have the non-literal one, where the text goes beyond the dictionary meaning, right? So like calling somebody the class clown. You're not saying that there's somebody in our class who comes to our Zooms dressed up as a clown every day. You're saying someone in the class who likes to be silly, kind of like a clown, okay? So here are some other examples. So it says, Josh helped his mom set the table for dinner. From the kitchen, he heard her shout, "Careful, don't spill the beans." She actually means there's beans on the table. Be careful when you sit down so you don't spill the beans, the actual beans, okay? Then here's a non-literal example. Josh received an invite to a birthday party. The invitation said, "It's a surprise, so don't spill the beans." That "spill the beans," that is a phrase, and it means don't say anything. Maybe you're thinking, okay, you read it and you say, "It's a surprise, so don't spill the beans." And you think, don't spill the beans? Is it a bean party? What does that mean? So you use clues from what you read. So I'm going to read it again. I'm going to say, okay, Josh received an invite to a birthday party. Okay, so he's going to a birthday party and it said it's a surprise. Don't spill the beans. Oh, it's a surprise. If you're going to a surprise party, you don't want to tell the person about the party. So don't spill the beans must mean don't tell anybody, right? It doesn't mean to actually not spill the can of beans. It means to not tell somebody something. So that's the difference between a literal meaning and a non-literal meaning. When you are reading something, you have to know when an author is literally meaning something or not literally meaning something. Okay? All right, let me set us back up. Back to our page we were on. Come on. Nope, not that way. Come on, there we go. Okay, so back to page 200. If for some reason you're missing this page, I've seen some people tell me that, it's from our old binder. So maybe double check your old binder and see if it's in there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna read this little story. And while I'm reading, I want you guys looking for literal and non-literal things in here. Trisha, you have a question?
It's not a question. I was asking if I can read it.
Oh, you know what? That's a good idea. How about you read it for us then? Same thing though, while Trisha's reading it, you guys are looking for literal things and non-literal things. Let's see if we can find them. All right, Trisha, go for it.
Arthur likes snow.
Uh-oh, hang on, Trisha. Oh, we lost your sound. Uh-oh. Try again. Your sound went away, Trisha. Hold on. There we go. Now I can hear you again. Try again.
Arthur likes nothing better to stay up reading long after he was supposed to be asleep. He would pull up his blanket over his head like a tent, turn on his book light, and get lost in his story. Tonight, though, his dad caught him. Turn off that light, Night Owl, said Dad. You got school tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you, Trisha. Good job. So here are the things they want us to pay attention to. Get lost and night owl. Okay. So if you turn the page to page 201, page 201 looks like this. Let's talk about those underlined things. So for example, night owl. What does it actually mean? It means a big-eyed bird that is usually awake at night. That is a night owl. Okay. Then we've got context clues. Stays up reading. Should be asleep. Awake later than he's supposed to be. Okay. Then, what is the meaning in the passage? Do they mean the literal meaning is, what was his name, Josh? No, Arthur, sorry. Is Arthur turning into a big-eyed bird that's usually awake at night? Or does it mean something different? Sophia H., did you want to add something or do you want to answer it?
I wanted to answer.
Okay, what do you think?
I think it's the non-literal meaning because he's not turning into a real owl. It's just he's staying up really late at night.
Okay. So here's what we're going to say. Arthur is acting like a night owl by reading late at night. Okay. So he's not literally a night owl. He's just acting like one. So it's the non-literal meaning. So make sure you write this down. And if you want to try the next one, you can. We're going to move to that in just a second. Okay, let's look at the next one. So it says get lost. The literal meaning of get lost, not know where you are or how to get where you want to go. Okay, I want to pause there. Trisha, you have a question?
No, I wanted to answer it.
Okay, so just hang on a second. Let me finish reading. So in the story, it says lost in his story. What do you think? Are we using the literal meaning of not knowing where you are or how to get where you want to go? Or would you say it's the non-literal? What do you think, Trisha?
I think it's the non-literal.
Okay, explain a little more.
Because the answer, because lost in the story means he's like reading too far, kind of like he mostly just focuses on his book.
Yeah, right. So it would be the non-literal. Okay, so it's not saying he like jumped inside his book and didn't know where to go, right? So we'll say he is very into his book. Okay. Not physically lost, but almost like mentally lost in what he's reading. All right, once you have these two boxes filled, you can go ahead and go to the next page, which is this story. Okay, we're going to read that next. Trisha, do you have a question?
Yeah, are we doing page 202 after this, or are we done?
Nope, we're still going to do 202 and 203 and 206.
Okay.
But we're going to do it together, so it shouldn't take us too long. So I think we might have time to read a little bit. So, okay, here's what I'm going to do. So for my friends who are new here in my class, what I like to do is I like to make sure, there's a couple of reasons I do this. One, I like to make sure that everybody gets a chance to read. And two, I also like to make sure everyone is paying attention, because sometimes I have friends who aren't paying attention and they think that they're getting away with it. And so I like to use a random name thing so I can make sure everyone's paying attention. So I am just making sure I have all my names in here, and I will spin it. So hang on here. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I got all my names on here. I'm gonna spin it. So hopefully, I got everybody. All right, here we go. Spinning my name. We are on page, sorry, let me move this. Page 202. Sorry, hang on a second, guys. There we go. Okay, so this is page 202. And reading my first paragraph is William. William, are you there? William. All right, make sure you guys are paying attention. Or if you are using the bathroom or something, this is the time where you have to make sure you let me know so I don't call on you. All right, I'm gonna spin again. Daniela, can you read the first paragraph for us?
I didn't know what to expect when my family went hiking on the Oregon coast. I'd never seen the Pacific Ocean before, but I sure knew that what I wanted to see, a whale.
Perfect. Thank you, Daniela. Next paragraph is Sandro. Sandro, can you read paragraph 2 for us?
Sure, let me just get into full screen. After a picnic lunch, we hiked through a thick rainforest. We saw chipmunks, a lizard, and a hawk. A trail gently snaked its way up the steep mountainside on top of a huge rocky cliff with a great view of the ocean. But I couldn't spot any whales. Then when we heard something move through the woods right behind us, we turned and there stood a huge elk with giant antlers. We all froze in place, barely breathing until the animal slowly walked away. Then we finally relaxed. We all started laughing and jumping around in excitement.
Thank you, Sandro. All right, third paragraph goes to Sophia H. Sophia H. Sophia H. Can you read paragraph 3?
Next, the trail wound down to a sandy beach. Waves hammered the shore. We saw seagulls, crabs, clams, and even some seals happily barking themselves out of the up on the warm rocks. But no whales. It was fun, but it was time to go.
Perfect. And finishing off is Trisha. Trisha, can you finish it off for us, please?
Okay. Everyone else started walking back to our trail, but my eyes were looking on the ocean. And then it happened. Not just one whale, but a whole pod of them broke from the surface, from the water. I was so
Stunned.
that I barely shouted, "Look!"
Perfect. Thank you, Trisha. All right, let's go ahead. Turn to page 202. So next page. View is not very. Okay. So page 203. We're going to fill out this box. Okay. So in the story, okay, use this phrase here. It says, look at the phrase froze in place in paragraph 2. So I'm going to go back to paragraph 2 real quick. That was the one Sandra read for us. And I'm going to underline it right here. Froze in place. So the literal meaning of froze in place is turned from water into ice. That's what it means to froze in place or freeze in place. Context clues. We go back to what the sentence says. Barely breathing until the animal walked away. So we all froze in place, barely breathing until the animal walked away. What does it mean in the story? Does it mean that him and his family turned into ice? Sophia F., what do you think? What's the actual meaning?
I think the actual meaning is maybe they were like, they didn't want to get hurt. So maybe they were just like, they stood still.
Perfect. They stood, I'm going to add a word here, really still. They stood really still. That's all you need to write, is that they stood really still. All right, and once you have that, look at the short response question, okay? See if you can get an idea of it. We're gonna go over it in 2 minutes. I'm gonna give my friends 2 minutes to write that. Well, I don't know if I see anybody writing still. I think we can move on. Okay, so you need to actually turn to page 206. I know we jump around a little bit, but page 206, and that's where that short response is. So it says, look at the description of the waves in paragraph 3. So if I go all the way back here to paragraph 3, talks about the waves here, and it says waves hammered the shore. Look at that word hammered. Waves hammered the shore. I think about the word hammered. What does hammered actually mean? What do you think the dictionary definition of hammered is? If you looked up the word hammered in a dictionary, Ellie, what would you find?
I think hammered mean like crashed onto the shore.
But what if you looked up the word hammered in a dictionary? What do you think it would be talking about?
Like you're hammering a nail into like a piece of wood or something.
Yeah, like using an actual hammer, using a tool. Is the story saying that the waves had hammers in their hands and they were nailing things into the shore? No, that would be ridiculous, right? So it's like Ellie said. So first it says, describe the literal meaning of hammered. That's the first thing we're going to write. So we're going to say, hammered. We're going to use that word. Literally means to use a hammer and hit a nail. Okay, there's our first sentence. That's what hammered means. Means to use a hammer and hit a nail. Okay, then our next part, that's okay if you're still writing the first one. Explain how hammered is used in the text. Tell which context clues helped you figure out the meaning. Okay, so Ellie got it right on the nose there, okay? In the text, hammered means to crash into something. Okay, so in the text, hammered means to crash into something. The text says, and I'm going to put it in quotes because I'm taking straight from the text, hammered the shore. Because that's our clue. It actually said going into the shore.